All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome, welcome. We've got about 100 people here so far. My name is Chloe Sutton. I'm the Vice President of Fitter and Faster and a two-time Olympic swimmer. I'm here to just kind of help facilitate Cierra cooking. Cierra is an Olympic gold medalist, and she also has a degree in, and I'm going to get this wrong again, Cierra. It's a complicated degree that you've got, or that you're in the process of finishing. Nutrition, and there's a psychology element, right? Wait, we can't hear you. Is your microphone on? It's darn. Cierra and I were just talking before. Let's see if she can get it back. No? All right, I'm going to send us to a new room real quick. We will be right back, okay? Okay, let's see if we can hear Cierra now.
Can you hear me?
Yes, yes. Yay, we
yeah.
fixed
Okay.
it.
Oh, I was like, no.
Awesome.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Okay. What?
Yeah,
so Cierra is an Olympic gold medalist, and she's also getting her degree in, what is it?
Nutrition and healthy living and psychology.
Yes, it's just 3 things. I should remember: nutrition, healthy living, psychology. I'll get it next time. Yeah, thank you for hosting the show, and we're hoping to turn this into a more personalized cooking class where we do some small group recipes where you get to work with Cierra to talk about your nutrition and work with her to cook some recipes. So that's in the process. Keep an eye out for that. But I'll let Cierra kind of take it away with what she's going to be cooking for us today.
Yeah. Hi, guys. Esther, I saw that the egg muffins, there you go, tongue twister, was really good. I'm glad you guys tried it. Today we're going to be doing little energy bites, energy balls. And these are some of my favorite things to make. And they're super easy to have, before practice, after practice, if you're just craving something sweet. I eat them all the time. I did a little batch yesterday as a tester, and I plowed through probably half of them already, just because they're one of my favorite things. So what are in the balls are, we're going to have some oatmeal, and oatmeal is super good for a lot of fiber. It's super filling, and it is high in plant protein, and it also has a good amount of carbs in it, so that's good for your body to fuel it for practices and your day, whatever you're doing, whatever exercise. We're gonna throw some almond flour in there. Almond flour is really good because it's from almonds, and almonds have a good amount of fat in them, good fat in them. So that is also a main fuel source for your body. When you're burning energy and fueling it and all that stuff. We're going to throw some nut butter in it. You can have your choice of pretty much anything, which is really cool about this, is it's super, versatile. I have almond butter. I also have creamy peanut butter, and you can also use, cashew butter. If you're allergic to nuts, you can use sunflower seed butter, which almost takes the cake over all these for myself, because it is so good. I will eat it just with a spoon, and you have to fight me for the jar of sunflower butter. I have here some organic raw honey, which is different from what you guys might see. You can use normal honey. I just use the raw honey because it doesn't get processed, and it's got all the goodness literally straight from the hive. And they strain it, and that's pretty much all they do to it. You can see it's a little bit more firmer the normal honey. I have the confidence to put it over my head. And that's just because they don't strain it or they don't add anything to make it more liquidy. But you're totally fine to use normal honey if that's all you have on hand. I saw somebody say that if you're allergic to almonds, what you can do for this is you can leave out the almond flour, and you can either use your peanut butter, and you can use sunflower seed butter if you're allergic to that. And what I would do is just when you leave out the almond flour, you can just add more oats to it. and that'll help firm it up. So we got that. We got some chia seeds. Chia seeds are rich in fiber, protein, and omega-3s. These are super good for your body to, help with inflammation. Omega-3s are really good at combating, like when your muscles get super sore and they get puffy. It takes it down and it helps your muscles with, the aches and pains that come with training. So those will help. I'm going to throw some toppings in here. I have dried cranberries. I've got some bee pollen, which is actually super good for you. This has a bunch of stuff in it that's anti-inflammatory, which again is helping with kind of the aches and pains of training. It'll help your muscles and your joints, your body with, chilling out with all the aches and pains, like I said. So I love using bee pollen because it's super, it's got a nice sweet flavor to it, but you can just add that. If you don't have it, don't worry about it, but it's good stuff. And last but not least, my favorite ingredient on earth, chocolate chips. So we're going to get started, guys. That was just kind of a breakthrough of everything you might need. And some of the questions I just saw, if you don't have almond flour, just use more oats, and that's totally fine. So I'm going to do 2 versions of this for you guys. I'm going to do it like a kind of chocolate chip, I guess cookie dough, if you will, version. And I'm going to do a an oatmeal raisin cookie version. So you're going to start off with a cup of just normal oats. I like to use the quick oats just because I tried it yesterday with some steel cut oats and it was a little crunchy. Yeah. It just had, you're kind of like,
I've tried to make oatmeal cookies with steel cut oats before, and yeah, they didn't turn out as good as
they're a little crunchy. So I like to use like the quick 1-minute oats just because they're a little softer, they're a little nicer on your teeth than what you might find with the quick oats or the steel cut. Next, we're gonna do about 5 tablespoons of almond flour. And this just helps with binding it, guys. And it's also good for you. So you're going to put 5 of those. And I'm going to do the chocolate chip ones first, guys, and then I'll do the oatmeal cookie ones. 4, 5. And you guys also, when you're measuring out with, this isn't really baking because there's no cook. But when you guys are doing this, what you want to do is when you're measuring, you always want it to be flat to the rim of the measuring, just because you don't want it heaping, because then it would be too dry, too moist, and all that stuff. So just make sure. I like to do a technique where you scoop, and I like to take the edge of the bag and just push it off so it's a nice flat surface. And that'll just make sure that everything's all even. Next, I'm gonna do some chia. So I do about 3 tablespoons of chia seeds. And honestly, I think it's kind of fun because it makes it almost snap, crackle, and pop, like a little bit of Rice Krispies. My mom used to make these for me all the time when I was back home, and she would try to sneak, like, it was really funny because you'd get like flaxseed in there. She would put like pretty much anything she could try to find in them. But she made one that has chia seeds in them, and they almost tasted like Rice Krispies because they had that like same kind of texture, which was really fun. There was one time, guys, speaking of flaxseed, I thought this was really funny, and I'll share this with you. She made us a cake, and we had, flaxseed versus sprinkles right next to each other. She grabbed the flaxseed and put the flaxseed on the cake instead of the sprinkles. Because they were the same, they were gold sprinkles versus like flaxseed, which look identical. And it was so funny because we were like, Mom? Like, she would put it in pancakes, she put it in everything. So it was just really funny. So next up, you're going to do your nut butter. I'm going to throw that in. But yeah, that was one of my favorite things. So you're going to do 1/3 cup. I actually don't have one, so I'm going to use my big one. It's 1/3 cup of your nut butter. And I'm going to use almond butter for this one. And I'm going to use peanut butter probably for the next one. because they're pretty much interchangeable when it comes to, you know, the choice you make. It's just if you prefer one over the other, totally fine. If you don't, you know, you can mix and match with everything, which is really nice. So you're gonna your third 3/4 cup of nut butter. Sorry, the 1/3 is the honey, which is coming later. So you're gonna add some more nut butter because I can't measure right.
Cierra, your mom's watching. She said,
Hi,
thanks
Mom.
for pointing out my senior moment.
You're welcome, Mom. I love you. She hates when I tell that story. It's one of our favorite stories to tell too. Is the funny part, as we say that all the time. All right, so you got your butter, your nut butter in there. And the cool part about this one, guys, is that it literally is one bowl, and there's no baking involved. I'm gonna throw some of my bee pollen. Bee pollen kind of looks like this. You can find it, honestly, I found this at my local Ace store, but you can find local beehives that sell this, and local is better for you. And actually, there's some studies out there that if you ingest bee pollen, it'll help with your allergies. So there's stuff out there that helps with that. It boosts your immune system. Vitamins, nutrients, enzymes are all in there that are super good for you. So that's, some of the benefits of bee pollen. It's a weird product, and one of those things that when I was younger, I was like, But as I've gotten older, I've learned to kind of appreciate that. Next up, we're going to use our cup again, and we're going to do our 1/3 now of honey. Again, this is a 1/2 cup. I don't have a 1/3 cup, so I'm just going to use the little niches in the side. If you guys don't have, each cup, you guys can use, usually on the cups, they'll have, the 1/3, 2/3, like on your cup. And that'll help with, if you don't, you just fill it to that line, and you want to, if you have liquid honey, you want to put it on the, on the countertop and make sure it's level. But that's another good way to use just 1 cup. And it creates less of a mess for you to clean up, and or your parents if you're parents.
And for those of you asking how much of each, she's saying how much she's putting in of each ingredient, but it's also in the recipe that we just shared.
Yeah.
And after class, it will also be on the replays page. So you'll get an email, the same email you used to log into here. You'll get an email with the recipe or with the web page that you can go to rewatch this video and to view the recipe again. So just want to make sure. A lot of people were asking.
Yeah, this will send out to you guys, so you guys will be able to see kind of the process. And I know there's some questions on like substitutions and stuff. You can use maple syrup for honey. You can, you just want a sticky sweetener is the thing. So that's your kind of binding agent. That and the nut butter are 2 of your things. So the last thing that for the base of this is 1 teaspoon of vanilla. And then your base is ready to go after that. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna make sure you mix it all together. Make sure everything's incorporated. It is really hard with this spatula, I'm not gonna lie. Hold on, guys. I'm gonna switch it out because the silicone spatula is not doing it for me right now. So maybe you might have a little bit more to clean up. It's fine. You live and you learn. So you guys want to keep an eye on the texture of, I guess the consistency, the texture of your, your kind of mix. If it's too dry, you guys add either a little bit more oats or a little bit more, if it's too wet, you're going to add more oats. Or if it's too dry, you're going to add a little bit more nut butter. So mine's a little dry right now. So I'm going to add probably about a tablespoon at a time until it gets to the right consistency. But at that point, you just want to make sure that you're not adding, a whole boatload of the nut butter or a whole boatload of, almond flour if it's too wet, because then you'll just have a massive amount of this stuff. All right, so this is kind of coming together. Give some good smooshes. If you want to, guys, too, you can use your hands. That might help too, so that you're going to get your hands in it anyway, so you might as well. All right, cool. So this is what you're looking for. You're kind of looking like when you mix it away from the bowl, it comes away clean, you know? So this is the texture you want so that you can form it into your balls. All right, so for the chocolate chip ones, I have like these mini chocolate chips in them. These are some of my favorite because they get, you know, into everything. And I'm using semi-sweet right now, but you guys can use dark chocolate. Dark chocolate actually has a bunch of antioxidants and benefits to it. Provides some energy, you know, it's hitting that sweet tooth for sure. And you're just gonna mix in all your little chocolate chips. You can use normal chocolate chips. I just like the mini ones because you get more chocolate in each bite instead of getting walloped with a little chocolate, like a big chocolate chip. All right, cool. I've had these at meats, guys. I eat these pretty much all the time. They're just so good, and they're a really good dessert. So you're gonna take your mix. You should be able to pick it up. Shouldn't be too dry. Shouldn't be too wet. You know, you should be able to form it in the amount that you want. You know, if you want 1 bite, 2 bites, this is probably a 2-biter. I like 2-biters. They're nice. Gives you a good bang for your buck. So you're just gonna put it into balls. And if you guys, I have it on the recipe. You can also chill this before you make the balls, or you can make the balls and then chill the balls. So this is your kind of end product. And once you chill them, they're firmer. But even right now, you know, like I can take a nice bite out of it. See, 2-biter. But that, you know, that's what you're looking for when you make these. Is you're gonna make the, you know, I'm gonna get a plate out. You just make little 1 to 2 inch balls, and then you're ready to go. And these store, guys, for I think about 2 weeks in the fridge in an airtight container. And you can freeze these guys for probably a couple months. So
this would be a great like between races snack.
Yeah. This is
practice snack.
awesome. Yeah, this is like if you're, you know, mid practice, before the meet, after the meet, during practice, you know, you can eat these really anytime you really want to, which is awesome because they taste delightful.
That's a question I get a lot is snack ideas. And I'm a big fan of like fruit. I love like a banana or an apple with peanut butter, but these are just, you don't have to cut this, you know, you don't have to, it's really easy to store and just grab real quick. This is a great snack.
Yeah, it's an awesome snack. And, you know, 1 or 2 of these, and honestly, they taste like cookie dough. So, you know, if you're a big fan of cookies, cookie dough, which I am, sweet tooth, this can also double as a dessert. All right, so I'm going to set this aside for right now because I'm going to make you guys the oatmeal cookie ones. All right, so oatmeal cookie ones, you're going to use the same base. You can switch up your nut butters. You can switch up, you know, whatever you're really feeling. There's a ton of nut butter all over my countertop, and I don't know what happened. Just fighting with it, guys. It's fine. And, you know, that's the fun part of this is, like, you just get to kind of be a mad scientist a little bit, which is a lot of fun. All right, so I'll go through it again, guys. 1 cup of oats. You're going to do 5 tablespoons. And you guys can fluctuate too with that. Is with the almond flour, you can do 4 to 6 depending on, you know, if you got a little heavy-handed with the nut butter of your choice. I'm going to do 4 on this one just because the other one was a little bit more dry. But it might be different because I'm using peanut butter. So you guys just kind of, if it's too dry, you want to add more nut butter. Too wet, add either oats or almond flour, and that'll help that out. All right, we got 3/4 cup of peanut butter. I got a brand new one. I'm gonna use a brand new one.
And you said if you're allergic to almonds, you said more oats is just fine.
Yeah, you can leave out the almond flour. You can leave out the almond butter. And just, you know, you don't have to use the almond flour. You can just use more oats. And then with like the almond butter, you just leave that out. And if you have a complete nut allergy, like I said, sunflower butter is to die for. It's one of my favorite things. I love some butter.
And does normal flour work, or would that make it too like gritty?
The problem with normal flour is that you're gonna have to cook normal flour in order for it to not taste like flour. That's the one hard part, is like flour is something you have to actually cook for it not to taste like you're just eating flour out of the bag. And that's the hard part about that. So I would suggest using just oats. And if you're really wanting a flour, or you don't like the oat texture, you can actually take your oat mixture, your oatmeal, and you can pulse it in. I have a coffee grinder that I use. You can use a coffee grinder and pulse the oats so it becomes like an oat flour instead.
Your mom just commented that too, right before you said it.
Hi, Mom. So yeah, you can just pulse the oat flour, or the oatmeal until it becomes a flour, and that'll kind of get rid of that oat texture if you're not a big fan. So I'm gonna hit it with some chia seeds again, and you guys, you can take out the chia seeds if you're not feeling it. These are kind of a topping that I like to use, and again, it just kind of gives that kind of, I don't know, Rice Krispie feel to it. And it's packed with some really good stuff.
Yeah, this is a great recipe because you can really interchange a lot of the ingredients to stuff you like. And you can try following Cierra's recipe exactly, but then if you feel like maybe instead of, last time she used craisins, you can use raisins or dried figs. I mean, you can just start, like you said, becoming a mad scientist and mixing in some of your favorite little things.
Yeah, you can do trail mix. You can do trail mix one where you do, like M&Ms and raisins, and you can do a pretzel one where you throw some ground up pretzel in there. Like you can really have fun with the recipe in this one. And that's why I love it so much, is that you literally cannot get sick of it, because there's so many variations and different types of things you can do. You could do like cashews, you can throw pretty much everything in here that you'd like. And if you guys end up with some really cool recipes, tag me in it, tag Fit or Faster in it. And I'd love to give it a try, and love to see you guys working through some of the recipes. That's awesome. So final thing is the 1 teaspoon of vanilla. And you guys see how easy it is. It's just it's so simple to put together, so fast. It's something you can throw together, on a Sunday, right before, practices start for the week and stuff. And it tastes really good, and you might plow through them in, a couple days like I do. But if you keep them well, they're super easy to just grab and go, in the morning, heading to school, to practice, whatever. So this one, you guys can see, this is a little bit more runny because of the natural peanut butter that I used. If you use a more firmer, like Jif peanut butter, that'll probably firm this up a little more. So I'm going to throw an extra tablespoon of almond flour in this, just so it's not as sticky. And also probably refrigerating it would help as well. But I like to do the balls before I refrigerate. But totally up to you guys on your timeline, on which, when you fridge and when you don't. All right, cool. So this one's like that. So for the oatmeal cookie one, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some cinnamon and nutmeg to it.
Ooh.
That's not cinnamon. That's chili powder.
Oh, no.
That tastes awful. We're going to not do that one. My spice store is hard because it's like all the black tops on it. And then you have to fight to see the cinnamon and versus the chili powder, apparently. So I'm going to throw in here probably about a teaspoon of cinnamon. First, I'm going to fight with it. I'm going to do a little bit of cinnamon, and then I'm going to do some nutmeg, because I love nutmeg in my cookies when I do oatmeal raisin in this point. All right. So I'm going to do some nutmeg, and then I'm going to mix in the dry ingredients before I mix in the craisins, just so that I can tell if all the spices are, mix together and interact, and you don't get a big wad of cinnamon. And we don't need to do the cinnamon challenge in our balls, our energy bites. So you're just gonna make sure that everything's incorporated, guys, in a nice look. I can like pull it up. That's awesome. So it's a nice consistency, and if everything, you know, you don't get a wad of cinnamon or nutmeg in your energy ball, because that would not look or taste good. And then I'm gonna add my cranberries. And guys, cranberries, they do have sugar in them to keep them sweet. I go for like the 50% less sugar or the all natural, you know, no sugar added versions of these. Oh no, Roberto, no. Sorry, our vacuum.
I like your vacuum's name's Roberto.
We named him Roberto because it's a bob sweep, it's called. So we named him Roberto.
Cute.
So sorry guys. So if I could fight with the packaging to get it open, you know, I'm gonna get some raisins in there, and this is by eye, guys. You guys can choose how much. I'm probably gonna do, you know, just a little bit, because I'm not the biggest raisin fan, but it does add, you know, that textural element to it, and a bit of sweetness. But what I was saying about the sugar in the craisins is that they add sugar to it to make them sweeter. So I try to find the ones that are reduced sugar, just so you're not getting a whole bunch of processed sugar in your diet. You know, because that's not terribly good for your health. It's okay in limited quantities, but you don't want to have all those sneaky sugars that they throw in there sometimes with different types of foods. And you can avoid those, guys, by looking at the nutrition label and looking for your sugars. They usually have it right here in total sugars, and you'll see like this one per serving is like 14 grams. And it includes 13 grams of added sugar, which is 26% of these guys. So you just want to be careful that some of your favorite products aren't sneaking a bunch of sugar into your diet.
Mm-hmm. Guys, a lot of you are still asking about substitutions, like other fruits instead of cranberries.
Yeah, you
if
can
you
do raisins.
Butter. Yeah, you guys can throw whatever you want in there. This is a great recipe. You know, the beginning of this video, she kind of gave us a base of how to make these. But you can combine, you know, a lot of the ingredients maybe you have already in your pantry, or something that sounds yummy. And you really can do whatever you like to make these suit your needs and your tastes.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's the cool part, guys, is the base, you know, and like those things are still interchangeable, like your nut butter, or, you know, the sweetener that you use, the stickier sweetener. That is all pretty much the same throughout what you do. You can throw some cocoa powder in here, and make it like a double chocolate protein ball, energy bite. You can really get creative with it, and I think that's a lot of fun. And substitutions, you know, if you're allergic to nuts, you can use sunflower butter. You know, if you're allergic to almonds, just take out the almond flour, and use either the oat flour or just use more oatmeal. But these are the cranberry, oatmeal cranberry ones. And it's awesome because they taste like a little oatmeal cookie ball. And they're so good. Ooh, there's some nutmeg in there. There's got a hint of the nutmeg, guys, and it's really good. So I'm going to pop these in the fridge real quick.
And you recommend chilling them. You recommend chilling them just so they kind of get a little bit cool. Just so they hold together better. You don't even need to really cool them, right?
No.
We're asking how long. It's just kind of until they're firm enough that you feel like you can grab them and eat them without them being super sticky, right?
Yeah. It's just so like when you put them, you know, have them in the container or take them out, they're not just like going. They should hold together well, but it just helps them firm them up. So,
and before you guys got on, Cierra and I were talking. She also lives in Arizona, so I think if she left these out on the counter, they might melt into a puddle. She said it's getting to be 100 degrees there, so that's also probably a part of it.
Yeah, it's also a cooler snack, so you're not, you know, eating. It's supposed to get 100 degrees this week, so It's taking out that whole like extra added. I have to start icing my coffee and stuff because it's getting so hot. I saw somebody say, how long do you store in the, can you store them? You can store them in the fridge as long as you have them in an airtight container. You can store them for about 2 weeks. Freezer, you can store them up for like 3 months. So they're really, and when you freeze them, you're going to want to defrost them before you eat them, just because I don't think that would taste very good. But yeah, so you don't have to bake them. It's one bowl. I kind of made a mess on my counter, but you know, mad scientists. So yeah, they're really easy to make, guys, and they're, you know, once you get the hang of it, they're about 10-15 minutes to make, and super easy to, you know, grab and go.
Yeah, you made 2 while talking in 30 minutes. So
yeah.
you made 2 different batches.
Yeah, so you guys can definitely play around with the recipes and let us know how they go, because I'd love to give some mad creations a try. Whatever you guys come up with, let me know.
So I'd like to maybe see if you guys have some questions about nutrition for Cierra. Go ahead and type into the comments if you guys have any questions specifically about nutrition you might want to know about. You know, each week we're making something different. We made the first week a dinner, then we made a dessert, right?
Yep. Yeah, we did
a black bean brownie. We made a snack. So
yeah, does anybody have any, you know, things that they want to learn how to make and they're not sure how to, the snacks?
Laura, we made the black bean brownies last week. If you want to make the black bean brownies, go to fitterandfaster.com/replays, and the recipe and the video of Cierra making them is there.
Yeah. Yeah. So if you guys have anything, just let us know in the chat and we can work on putting that, you know.
I saw this question kind of come through. Do you count calories, or how aware are you of your caloric intake?
I don't. I try not to count calories, actually, because I think that counting calories is limiting kind of how you're eating. And I think being aware of how much, you know, how many veggies you're eating, if your plate looks colorful, if it's got, you know, if you're looking at a pie graph, you know, does your plate almost look like a pie graph with your carbs, your veggies, and your protein? You want to make sure that each meal you're trying to get those 3, because you're looking for fuel and you're looking for recovery. I think I have almond butter on my hand. I don't know how that happened. But you want to make sure that you're getting those 3 on your plate at all times. And as long as you're following that and you feel good and, you know, you're working out well, you're training well, I think counting calories and isn't that important compared to making sure that your plate looks good and has the, you know, the pie graph of those 3 main components on it. So I try to avoid counting calories and try to make sure that I just feel good, and I try to stay away from, like, you know, sugars, bad stuff, although, like, you know, Twinkies and cakes and cupcakes and cookies I try to stay away from. And that's why I love the energy balls so much, is because they're healthy and they're you know, they're tasty and they get rid of that sweet tooth, which is really nice.
Do you use any protein powders, or do you recommend using any kind of protein powders, especially like kind of what age group, you know?
Yeah,
you have somebody else that they're safe for 13-year-olds. I never use any protein powders, so.
No, I was instilled, when I went to a zone camp, they instilled the fear. I don't know if they did this to you, Chloe, but the fear of God into us about supplements.
Supplements are not safe, yeah.
Big no to supplements. So I tried to avoid protein powders as much. Anything that didn't say nutrition facts, I was very, very wary about, because you guys, there's problems with, you know, cross-contamination and stuff like that. So I just like to get it from natural foods. I try to, again, with my plate, I try to make sure, like, if I had a really hard lifting session or swimming session or dry land, I try to make sure that my plate has a good bit of protein on it and a good amount of carbs and fats and, you know, veggies on it, because that is going to give your body what it needs from a natural source. And then you don't have to worry about, the whole like supplement thing and panicking about all that. So just try to get, I suggest trying to get it a natural way. Eat a lot of protein. Try to get that in your diet as much as you can.
Do you eat more like 3 square meals a day, or do you eat more frequently?
Yeah, I eat more frequently, actually. I try to do like 3 medium-sized meals, and then I do snacks in between. I'll be snacking probably every 2-3 hours, if not like more, just because I want to give my body a constant flow of energy and making sure that it's fueled for the day and what I need. So like yesterday, I had breakfast. I made these energy balls. I had some of those. I had lunch. I had like an apple and peanut butter. I had dinner, and then I had some raspberries before I went to bed. So I like to kind of make sure it goes throughout the day.
And now, does that change depending on how hard you're working out?
Yeah. So if if I'm having a really, really hard day at practice, I'll make sure I eat more. And if it was more of a recovery day, I'll either make sure my plate has more vegetables on it and really work on my veggie fruit intake, or I'll change it. If it's a heavier day for me, I'll eat more protein to help my body recover, like my muscles recover and rebuild what I kind of broke down. So,
Are you a water or sports drink during practice person?
Water. Depends on how I'm feeling, actually, because I'll get on stints where I just drink water, and then I'll get on stints when I'll just drink Powerade or Gatorade or sports drink. I just have to be careful, and like you guys should be careful with the amount of sugar that are in each of those. It's not necessarily the concern while you're in practice, because those sugars are really good for you while you're swimming and training, and working out in dry land and such. But you want to make sure that when you're not training, try to go for water, because your body is asking for that hydration, but it doesn't necessarily need those sugars at that moment.
I'm a big fan of lemonade during practice. I don't know why.
Interesting. I've never tried that.
Yeah, because I feel like if I'm drinking plain water, it tastes like I'm drinking pool water, and it just wouldn't be yummy to me.
And if you're outdoor too, if you're an outdoor swimmer too, your water bottle is like hot tub water. I've made the mistake where after a hard set, like my water bottle has been sitting out there for an hour, and it wasn't insulated, and I like went to go drink it, and it was just like scorching water, and I put it in my mouth, and I was like, like it just spit directly back out. I was like, nope.
But doing just like a bunch of lemon juice and then like a little bit of sugar makes it taste more refreshing to me. Even if it got warm, it would still taste decent, you know. Yeah, that's what I still drink during my workouts a lot of the times. Is I remember standing before my practice, like squeezing lemons through my water bottle. I love being pregnant. Also, I've just craved citrus so much, so I still drink a lot of lemonade.
Yeah,
add lemon to my water, all that.
Yeah.
You know how much water you should drink every day? I know there's like a baseline, but I think it varies by person, right?
It does vary by person. So I know that it's like if you have a generic, Powerade squeeze, Gatorade squeeze bottle, it's like 6 or 7 or 8 of those. And I think males, you guys, boys, you need to drink, men need to drink. I think it's like 2 more technically than women, but you guys, like, it's actually way more than you think you need. I always just remember that. It's always like I would always look at the diagram or the number, and I'd just be like, oh wow, I'm not even close to that. But if you think about your standard, your standard Powerade or Gatorade or squirt bottle, one of these guys, you're pounding probably 6, 7, 8 of these, depending on how much work you're doing. And that's, sometimes you need more if you're having harder practices, but that's usually baseline for just like living and staying hydrated.
And a good way to know if you're hydrated or not is just
color your pee. Look at your pee
after you go to the bathroom.
Always look at your pee, guys, because that is one of the greatest indicators of how hydrated you are. You want it lighter The lighter is better. It's kind of a light straw color is ideal for like a hydration check. If it's coming out really dark, you guys want to up your water intake a lot. And another tidbit, guys, is don't chug water or your hydration. So if you find that you're super, super dehydrated, you want to make sure you're sipping throughout the day because if you just pound water, it flies through your system and doesn't really get to absorb as much as your body needs it. So just make sure you're kind of sipping throughout the day.
We'll do probably one or two more questions. I saw a good one. What would be your favorite thing to eat maybe right after a practice or right after a race? What was your favorite recovery food?
Ooh. So after my races, I always went for, honestly, like, depending on what race, because like after a mile, like you don't want to eat anything. But my dinner usually after races is something, it's either like salmon, a burger, honestly, something higher in the fat content because your body needs that fat for that energy and will help you recuperate, and that protein to help rebuild everything that you came down and tore down while you were racing. But I always usually go for a higher fat content actually because the energy helps with sustaining your body through, you know, a 3, 4, 5 day meet. After practices, I try to do like right after practice, I'll do chocolate milk, like string cheese, yogurt, apple. I try to get carbs, protein in as fast as possible. And you want to try to get in, you know, guys, anything to help your body within, I think it's like 30 minutes after you're done working out to replenish, you know, all of your stuff. So all the nutrients you burn through.
Yeah. We'll do, I think 2 more questions. We'll do how many cheat days do you typically have or should you have per month or week? I mean, I don't think there's really a hard and fast rule. It's some people have a harder time controlling themselves. Some people maybe have 1 cheat day a month. Some people probably more like once a week. I don't know.
If I had 1 cheat day a month,
I'd be grumpy.
Probably 1 or 2 a day or 1 or 2 a week.
Yeah.
And it's not necessarily cheat days. It's more like, oop, I had a cookie, you know, ooh, I had a pint of ice cream. It's not like, oh, I destroyed this day. And sometimes you do. Sometimes you have a day where it's like you gotta eat like a donut for breakfast and then lunch is something like pizza and then dinner is like, I don't know, something else that's not the greatest, you know. Sometimes you have the days like that, you know, and then you, instead of being worried about, oh my gosh, did I eat all that? You can just, you know, go about your normal eating habits, you know, the next couple of days. Like you just want to make sure you guys have a balanced diet. And I think like it's not necessarily cheat days. They're just like balanced, you know, because you're going to have times where it's like you have a donut and, you know, the rest of your day's great. Or you might have like a cookie at the end of the day, you know, like it doesn't make it a cheat day or not. I just try to keep it all balanced in one
It's
thing.
okay to indulge every once in a while, but I know I fell into the trap of, I had a donut for breakfast. Now the whole day's ruined. I might as well eat, you know, McDonald's for lunch and dinner.
Yeah.
The whole day's, instead of just being like, I'm allowed to indulge every once in a while. I don't need to judge myself harshly for that. You know, I that's okay. I can just go about the rest of my day eating completely normally. I don't need to turn this into like, how much can I eat today? So
and if you guys, you know, like don't feel the pressure, like you said, Chloe, like the pressure of, oh my gosh, I like ruined my whole day or whatever. It's like, it's just, you know, you just make sure it's all in a balance. And if, you know, you're having a couple days in a row where it's just like, you're just eating really bad and really poorly, you just want to try to be mindful about making your way back onto, you know, balanced diet. Make sure you're getting your fruits, veggies, protein, fats, and good fats, not, you know, sugar, and try to avoid as much processed sugar as you can. Cameron, you don't have to, if you're at a party, you don't have to pass on desserts. I will go and eat a cake with the rest of them whenever I'm at something. It's just making sure that you're balancing. You know, if you have a piece of cake, it's like the next day you're just like, okay, cool. Like, I'm going to have a good breakfast, good dinner, good lunch, and I might still have, you know, something at the end of the day, like some ice cream. But just try to keep it balanced. Try to, you know, don't destroy, you know, a bunch of tasty cakes in one day and then try to figure it out. Try to keep it balanced, and you guys should be fine.
Yeah. Cool. Well, you guys, if you have more questions, Cierra, go ahead and type your Instagram into the chat there.
Okay.
Right? If you're okay with people messaging you on Instagram.
Oh, yeah. You guys can message me. You can DM me. I will try my best to get back to you guys as soon as possible. But just feel free to, you know, chat, comment, and let me know if you guys have any questions or whatever you guys are feeling.
Yeah.
And if you guys have suggestions on, you know, what you would like to cook with me when we get, you know, the more individualized stuff up, let me know with that. You know, let me know a bunch of those things. Okay, yeah, it went up. Cool. All right.
Awesome.
Yeah, let me know.
All right, guys, you'll get an email with the replay of this webinar following the webinar when we end it, probably in about an hour or two. I'm not sure exactly when Tyler Clary has the email scheduled to go out, but I'm going to go ahead and upload the video to YouTube too. You can go to fitterandfaster.com/replays to see the recipes we made in the past. Cierra's made a turkey and sweet potato skillet, black bean brownies, and egg muffins. We made a breakfast last time. So a lot of you were asking for breakfast. We did make breakfast last time, and we made brownies the day before that, or the time before that. So we'll probably do something maybe with protein or something next. Yeah. I don't know. It's up to Cierra. But go ahead. Yeah, if you want to send her some suggestions, that would be great. But we'll see you guys here next week. Check out everything we've got going on at fitterandfaster.com/live. Otherwise, we'll see you soon.
All right. Bye, guys.
Bye.